different. Like, if murder was legal, I might have killed a few people. I don't know. I'd love to think, oh, I would never do that. But we really need the law against murder. For one simple reason. The law against murder is the #1 thing preventing murder. We'd like to think it's because, like, oh, I would never do that. No, it's because it really sucks getting caught murdering. A lot. If murder was legal, or just a misdemeanor, like you get a thing in the mail, ah, shit, they had a camera there. Oh, well. If murder was legal, there would be so much murder. Regular people would murder. Murderers would murder even more. And then really nice, sweet people would murder a few people. But nobody would murder no people. You wouldn't trust somebody who didn't murder. If murder was legal, you wouldn't like them. I never killed anybody. Okay, nice meeting you. Ugh. What a creep. I mean, not even a hooker? Live a life. What's wrong with that guy? He's like a Mormon or some shit. I hate those guys. I think he's nice. Shut up, Janet. It would just... If murder was legal, there would be a lot of murder. Children would behave very differently. Because mostly parents would be murdering their own kids. That's mostly what would happen if murder was legal. You'd be, you go to a mall, there'd be like 8 different moms in the mall, just, I told you to stop it! You didn't listen to me, just... You'd be stepping over dead kids. It'd be like a new problem. You have to clean up your kids when you kill them, because it's gross. It's bad for the environment. If you murder your child in a public place, please use one of the red bags that are in the dispensers every 3 feet of America. Put your murdered child in the red bag with a logo of a murdered kid on it. Next to the other logo that tells you not to let your alive kid play with a plastic bag because they might suffocate. In which case you could just leave them in the bag.
It's harder having a dog because children develop and dogs just stay dumb. And they never figure it out. And when I don't know if you ever had a dog that's had a medical problem, but you can't get their cooperation when you need to help them. Because you can't say to them, you have this problem, you see.
Yeah.
I had this dog, when I took my dog to the vet the first time, she was, a year old when I adopted her. And the vet told me, don't let your dog eat dark chocolate. I don't know if you know this, but
I've heard this, that
yeah.
Dark chocolate is supposed to be poison to dogs.
It kills them. And vets won't explain it further either. It's like, why does it kill them? Oh, just they die. Like, they won't tell you why. Like, what do I do if my dog eats dark chocolate? Watch her die or leave the room. But the vet did tell me there's one thing you can do, which is give your dog hydrogen peroxide. And that foams up in the dog's belly, and then they throw it up with the chocolate. That's what you should know to do that. But you got to do it quickly before they ingest the chocolate. All right, so I come home like 6 months later. Sure enough, my dog ate dark chocolate. I had friends who had stayed over and they didn't know. They left dark chocolate in low places.
Right.
Which is very popular.
Here's a good place for this.
Yes.
I could put it on this high shelf, but I think not.
They put it way down.
I may be crawling on the floor later.
That's right. And might not need a snack.
So what? So you come
my
home
dog
and had your dog eaten it?
Eating a whole big bar of dark Polish chocolate. The Polish part doesn't matter, but I like saying Polish chocolate. And And my dog had chocolate on her face, and I went, "Oh my God!" And she looked at me like, "I was home for an hour alone. What are you gonna, come on?" And I was like, "You're gonna die!" And she's looking at me like, "I don't understand English, but I get that you're upset." And so I'm thinking, I gotta get hydrogen peroxide into this dog, but I don't have any. So I've got to go to the pharmacy, and she needs to come with me because there's no time.
Right.
I'm in New York City, and I put the leash on her. She's like excited. We're going for a walk, and I'm running, and she's like, "This is great for you. You never exercise." And she's just enjoying it. And then we get to the pharmacy, and she's waiting for me when I come out, and I've got a bottle of hydrogen peroxide that I have to make her drink.
Yeah.
Like, take yourself through that. How do you make a dog like you just, here, drink this? So I kind of pour a little in her snout, and she goes like that. And so I kind of grab her, and I pour a little more. She goes, I think I was pretty clear that I didn't like that. Like, she looks at me like she's trying to figure out what's going on here. And so I get my whole body around her. This dog was 70 pounds. She was like an alligator.
Yeah,
and if she didn't want to drink something, she's just thrashing. I'm like, drink it! And at one point, I have her on the end of the leash, and she's looking at me all wet on the face. And she gives me this look like, I don't know what happened to you, but our thing is over. I'm not into you anymore. I'm a dog. And she starts going, "Arr!" She became completely vicious. She's trying to bite me, and I'm trying to save her life.
Yeah.
So I'm punching her in the face and splashing this stuff. I'm holding her lip open. I'm going, kicking her in the stomach. And I look, and there's hundreds of people on the sidewalk just horrified.
Yeah.
There's cars stopped, and they're honking at me. Leave her alone. She's gonna die. It was a nightmare. And finally, I got enough up her nose and whatever.
Right.
And she was like, "Dude, just, huh?" And then she just like a pump, just and just brown foam.
Yeah.
Brown, like she's like another dog is coming out of her. And she made it, but she never liked me after that. She hated me. Because from her point of view, I just went nuts.
You went nuts.
I lost my mind.
For no reason.
I'll tell you this story about one time that I thought I was going to die. I think it's the only time where I thought, why wouldn't this be when I die? I was on a plane. I've been on a lot of planes and a lot of shitty weather and stuff, but this shit was fucked up. I was in Indianapolis on a plane, waiting to take off, and we're sitting there, and the pilot comes on, and he says, "Hi, folks, the fuel gauge is broken, so we're waiting for maintenance." So we wait. About 20 minutes. Then he comes back on, "Folks, the fuel gauge is still broken, but we're going to go anyway. We know how much fuel we have, and we feel confident it'll be okay, so we're going to go." And I'm thinking, okay, well, he's a pilot. I'm sure he's going by some manual that says, if the fuel gauge breaks, call maintenance. If they're not there in 20 minutes, fuck it. Fuel gauges are overrated. Just go. You're fine. Just top it off and remember what happened. So then we still don't take off. And the guy comes back on. Folks, we have another problem. LaGuardia Airport in New York won't give us clearance to take off because the weather's been bad there intermittently. So we're going to wait for that. So we wait 20 minutes. Then he comes back on. Folks, LaGuardia still hasn't given us clearance. But we're going to go anyway. We're looking at the radar. We think the weather will be fine. So what we're going to do is say that our destination is Philadelphia. We'll get clearance to go there. Halfway to Philadelphia, we'll switch course to LaGuardia Airport. We'll be happy there in a few minutes. I swear to God he said this. First of all, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be honest with the dude in the tower. Like, does the dude in the tower have to go, "Really? You're going to come on? Tell me where you're going." And why is he telling us this shit? Am I going to have to corroborate this lie if we get pulled over by the sky police at some point in the flight? "Oh, no, we're totally going to Philly. I got a brother there, and we got a thing in Philly." But I'm still fine with it because we're travelers on the plane. Yeah, I got a thing. Fuck it. I'm immortal. Just go, please. Yes. Go into marginal weather with shoddy equipment secretly. I totally support this plan. So, we take off. We get above where we are right now, and it's just a black motherfucker of a cloud. It's just like the Wizard of Oz. It's just, there's trees throwing apples at us. It's crazy. It's just horrible, and we're the whole flight, and we're making these circles. And me and the guy next to me are both listening to the tower. You know how you can plug into your seat sometimes, and you can listen to the tower talk to the area airplanes. And we keep hearing our guy trying to get clearance to land from LaGuardia.
This is Delta 288 requesting clearance to land. It's a negative 288. Low visibility.
A few minutes go by.
This is Delta 288. We would really like clearance to land. Yeah, that's a negative 288.
Like he was getting annoyed. And meanwhile, we're just circling and burning this vague amount of fuel. We could just stop being an airplane at any second. And then we hear this. This is all true. The LaGuardia guy comes.
It's LaGuardia Airport to all area airplanes. We are closed for the night. Zero visibility. Not safe for landing. Please divert to Philadelphia or Allentown, Pennsylvania, or Boston.
And then we hear our guy.
This is Delta 20. We need to land now. We have no fuel. We have to land right now.
Interesting. Then there's a pause, and then we hear this.
Well, then clear to land, then 280. That's how he said it. Like, dude, no one can see, okay? But just, I guess all the dumb decisions you made today have made this a good one. Just take a shot. I'm going home. Just fucking turn the lights off after you crash. I don't give a shit, frankly. By the way, you're not supposed to be here, you fucking liar. You said you were going to Philly.
So as soon as we get clearance, we just like we start bulleting. We're either flying desperately towards the ground or falling. I don't know that there's a difference. We come out of the clouds, and there's the fucking Earth right fucking there. It's right there. That's what low visibility means. We come out of the clouds, no fuck, it's right there, Jesus! And the plane just... And you can feel the plane go, oh, fuck, I can't do that. What are you, nuts? And we go and veer over the highway, and I swear to God, I saw people in their cars go, what the fuck? And we hit the runway like sideways, like poof. And the pilot comes back on, all true, I swear to God, he's totally out of breath. He's like,
Welcome to LaGuardia Airport, New York City. You may turn on your cell phones now, and you may call your loved ones.
He said that. He said, you may call your loved ones. And everybody on the plane was crying and rocking back and forth, just sobbing, calling their husbands and their wives. I'm divorced. What am I going to... Hi, remember you hate me? Well, I almost died. And I got in a cab, and the cab driver goes, that was a very bad landing. I was like, how'd you know that was me? He's like, that's the only plane to land in 4 hours. We all watched the drivers. We said they're going to die.
1994, I went to Russia, and it had just become Russia again. It was the Soviet Union until really that year, everything started to crash down. And at the time, I was a writer for the Conan O'Brien show, and I had written there for 2 years, and I was burnt out, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So I went to the head writer, and I said, I have to quit, because I think I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. And he said, take 2 weeks off and we'll pay you for the 2 weeks. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I had nowhere to go, and I thought, maybe I'll go to Russia. I really don't know why. I can't really explain any decisions I made then. Because I have children now, so you don't have to search when you have children. You're not like, oh, what could I do to enhance my life? You're just sort of compelled to do whatever comes at you at a certain age in life. But I was in my 20s. I had no wife, nothing. I had no girlfriend even. I just was this guy, and I had money from a TV job. And so I just said, I'm going to go to Russia. Because when I was a kid, I used to read Russian novels, and I loved them. And I would open all the windows so I would be cold, and I wanted to be cold like they were. So I just decided I'm going to go. And also somebody told me that the wall had just come down in the Soviet Union and that Russia was a really crazy place at the time. So I said, I'm going to go there. I speak no Russian. I can't even look at the alphabet and understand what I'm looking at. There's no place more foreign to me than Russia. So I went. I went to Moscow, which is, when you land in Moscow, it's just forest, and there's a city in the middle of just forest. It's terrifying. And as the plane goes down, you're like, no, I didn't want to really do this. And the whole time there, I couldn't fend for myself. It was already a country that was just broken in pieces. And the weirdest things happened to me there, and they just became normal after a while. Like I was in a restaurant, and a waiter came up to me, not my waiter, and he said, Coca-Cola? And I said, uh-huh. He said, Coca-Cola. And I said, sure. I don't drink Coca-Cola, but I had learned by that point to just do what they're asking you to do. Sure. So he went to the kitchen and he got a Coke and a can, and he handed it to me, and he said, $5. Because only dollars were worth anything there. And I said, okay, on my bill. He said, no, $5, me now. So I gave him $5, and he put on his coat and he left. He just sold me a Coke on the side and then quit his job. So those are the kind of confusing moments I was having there. And I couldn't talk to anybody, and I was so lonely. It's difficult. I mean, I was alone, and I just sit in the room and go, okay, that was a really fucked up day. I hated that day. And I tried to watch television, and the TV was American shows like Dynasty. And the way they translate, they didn't have, what they did was the sound is a little down, and there's just one man saying all of the dialogue over the whole show. I was there for 2 weeks, and it just was crushingly, I had made no contact with anyone. And then one day I went into the subway. Now, if you've never been to Moscow, the one thing I learned there is that, well, the streets are very, I can't gesture with this thing. It's beautiful, but I can't keep punching you in the face with a big white fist. Okay. The streets in Moscow during the Cold War, they were made wider so that they could have missiles go down the middle of the street for the parades. And if you go there, you'll find out, if you go behind the big buildings, they actually tore the buildings off of their foundations and dragged them back. And a lot of the bigger buildings in Moscow, in the back, they're being held up by like bricks. It's really unnerving how unsafe the whole city is. So the streets are very wide, and you can't cross the street on a green light. You'll never make it. So they made tunnels so you can go under, and those are connected to the subway. And the subway in Moscow, you go down in an escalator and you keep going until you think, it just keeps going. Like, this is so deep, this is really upsetting. But anyway, everyone hangs out in these tunnels. I went in the middle of December. I went to Russia in the middle of December alone. And I'm standing in the subway and I'm watching a violin player. And the one thing about Russia still today, I think, is that no one has any money. So when you see a guy playing the violin in the subway, he's like the first chair violin for like the Russian symphony orchestra, because that doesn't pay shit, and at least he can get a few kopecks in the subway. So I'm watching him, and these other people are sitting on the floor, and we're crying. Everybody's crying. Everybody. It's just normal. People are just watching, just wiping away tears. And there's a young fella sitting here, and he looked my age. I was 25 at the time. He looked about 25, and he was tattered and just watching this violin player. And then this group of kids walked by, about 8 children, ranging from 5 to 10 years old, and their faces were dirty, like an Oliver Twist, like they were in a play, like they had rubbed dirt on their face. And they're all wearing men's coats that they're wearing as from the neck down to the floor, and none of them have sleeves, their hands in their sleeves. Their sleeves are just flopping. They were like street urchin kids. And the coats, it just looked like these men's coats. And you kind of knew all the men who owned those coats are dead. And at least one of these kids killed those guys. Like, I swear I looked at an 8-year-old's face and thought, he has murdered. And that's what they looked like, just tough little kids. And I'd seen them before in Moscow. They work in groups. The guy sitting below me that I identified with called out to the head kid in the front. I don't speak Russian, so I just knew he was going, he's appealing to him. He needed something. And the kid with his hands in his sleeve looked at him suspiciously and said, like, what the fuck, why, what do you want from me? And the guy went, explaining himself, and he showed that his shoe had come apart. And he showed that his shoe was like a flap, and he showed the kid, and he showed him his shoe, and the kid shrugged and said, like, okay. And the kid's hand appeared from out of the sleeve, and there was a tube of shoe glue in his hand. He didn't rummage for it, it was already there. And he handed it to the guy, and the guy fixed his shoe with the glue, gave it back and just did. And then the kid from he took his other hand had a paper bag, and he put the glue in, and he huffed it, and his eyes rolled back, and he got high. And then the group kept going, and I couldn't believe what I just saw. That the misery in this country at that time was so calculable and so predictable that this guy thought, my shoe's broken. Oh, there's a child. He's sure to have some glue in his hand because the state of our nation is so wretched. And I looked, and he looked at me, and I was startled, and then he laughed, and I laughed. And he's the only person I had any contact with in the whole of the Soviet Union. And I realized this is why I came here, to find out how bad life gets, and that when it's this bad, it's still fucking funny. That's all I got. Thank you.
I gotta also ask for the boat. What happened with your boat?
Oh yeah.
That was all of a sudden like, wow, Louis like a tabloid guy. GK in his boat.
Just hanging out waiting to be rescued. I got stuck in the mud.
This new Black Crowes album.
It was my first day. Yes, it was my first day in the
stuck in the mud.
I just bought it. And I spent one day on it with some guy who showed me the specifics of the boat. But it's this big fucking boat with 2 engines, and it's really complicated to drive. And I took my girls out on it. And as we were pulling out of the marina, my daughter was like, how do you know how to do this?
Oh, shit.
And I was like, it's not that big a deal. Like, I was defensive with my 10-year-old. It's not that big a deal. I could do this. And we went around Manhattan, and I got in all this shit I had no qualifications to deal with.
That's a crazy waterway, because the currents,
especially on the east side.
Especially, what do they call that fucking
an actuary. They call it Devil's something.
It's like something.
All the water. Hell's
Gate.
Hell's Gate.
That's right. Yeah.
All
Right
the
on
water
the
converges right there.
They should call it
It's where
Watergate.
the rivers kind of split.
The Long Island Sound collides with the Harlem River.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
It gets a little dicey over there.
Really
Don't
bad.
say the Harlem River around Anthony today.
No.
I'm all right.
A little sensitive.
It's been a renaissance up there.
Don't say Muddy
one
River.
moment when we were in that cauldron and we just smashed, like the boat felt like it was coming apart, and my 7-year-old screamed, and her sister held her eyes, like closing them. It was like it was really stressful.
Were you panicking?
Then we get no. I mean, it's nervy, but
it was making that smack sound on the water. The bow goes like bam.
It was really bad.
It's where the Harlem River meets. Yeah.
The Long Island Sound.
The Long Island Sound,
it
the
swirls
East River,
in such
the Harlem
a way
River.
you've never seen before.
Yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah, it's
to go
all,
through
and
that area.
you get whirlpools.
Like up by Yankee
You know, it comes like a
No, on the
lumber.
east side.
It's
Not
fucking
far
lumber
from Yankee
floating around
Stadium. Not far from there.
Oh, yeah, well, it is. Yeah,
That
the
is east
stadium's
side.
on the east side. It's south
crazy
of there.
to navigate that.
It's just north of Roosevelt Island.
Yeah.
Correct.
And are you thinking I just want somebody who knows how to do this here right now with me?
And then we went up to the Harlem River, which is very, it's
awesome.
like glass.
It's really nice.
And so now we got through it, and we're really happy. And I've got frozen burritos and macaroni and cheese. So we're gonna pull over, throw the anchor, and we're gonna make lunch. And so I find this little cove, this sweet little cove.
Nice.
And
in Harlem?
There's people in a park next to it, and it's just a nice place. So I pull in there, and the boat just stops moving all of a sudden. And everything starts beeping because the boat is the boat is cooled by water that it's sitting in. So now it's just sucking mud up into the this 2-hour-old engines are now packed with mud. And I just shut everything off because I know everything's overheating.
Oh man!
And my daughters go, "What's going on?" And I turned to them and I said, "You need not to ask me any questions for a little while."
Oh shit! Yeah.
And the park ranger calls over to me from the shore, and he says, "You ain't going anywhere. It's low tide. You're going to be stuck there for a long time." And I'm like, no, it's all right. I'm trying not to let my daughters hear this. And I call the Coast Guard, whatever, the Channel 16. I'm like, anybody can tow me out of here. And these cops show up on the boat. And they're like 50 yards away, and they're not going to come anywhere near me.
No.
And they said, yeah, you're going to have to wait till high tide. Yeah, it's around 1 o'clock, and I'm on the radio with the cops, and they go, you're going to have to wait till high tide. And I said, when's that? And they said, maybe midnight.
Oh, no.
Both my daughters start crying.
Did you stay the whole time, or did you get out?
You can't, there was no way to get out, because in a few minutes, we were surrounded by mud. And it was like quicksand. Like I put a stick in it, and it just fell into the mud.
Were you embarrassed?
Fucking
One of the best questions I've ever heard. Quick, salient, succinct. Oh, man.
I was really embarrassed.
So you were pretty much just like, no more water. Your boat is sitting in muck.
Mud, yeah.
In mud.
Really
And
gross.
you're waiting for the tide to come back in. Were you afraid that it was just going to be stuck in the mud and
I was afraid
not
of that.
come up?
I was afraid. My daughter was like, what if we like keel over? What if we start tipping over? I'm like, that can't happen. And in my head, I'm like, that could totally happen. And the cops said they would go get us food because we couldn't cook any of the food now because it needs a generator to run the fucking oven.
How would they get it to you?
Well, that was a big deal because they went and got us food. The cops, they bought us a whole chicken and some rice. Really nice guys. Then they come back, and now there's a huge expanse of mud between us and them. Food. And they go, we don't know how you're going to get this. They put it in a garbage bag, and I start throwing a line to them, but it's not making it.
Of course
all these people on the shore, everybody knows who I am now.
Oh, no.
So there's people in the park and the shore who are just on a rail just watching me. And I'm throwing this, I've tied a pot to the rope. And I throw it, and it gets about halfway there, and I'm pull it back, and I'm covered in mud. Because every time the rope comes back, it's totally covered in mud, and I have to get the mud off so it's not heavy. Every time I go to throw it, all the people on the side, half of them are going, "Well, pull it for you, Louie. You can do it." And then when I miss, they go, "Oh man!"
like playing left field for the Yankees.
Yeah, it's totally the Yankee Stadium crowd. People booed. People booed.
Wow.
And I couldn't get it, so finally the cops pulled over a guy who was fishing, and they used his rod to throw me a line.
Cast a line.
They cast a weight over
Oh,
me.
nice.
So you're able to
I
tie
tied it
that.
to a rope.
Right.
Oh, shit.
They pulled, and then I had to pull dinner onto the boat. I was so soaked in mud and sweat. Totally.
Then it was chicken mole after that.
That's right.
Had your kids calmed down by that point?
They were great. My kids were amazing.
Yeah.
And what happens at midnight?
We waited and waited. Once in a while, like it started raining a little bit, and I heard from the darkness in the park, some kid go, "Hey, Louis C.K., it's raining out now." This is crazy.
Asshole.
But those guys at the marina where I keep the boat, they're really cool guys, and they sent some young guy, and in a boat, and they just dropped him in the water, and he swam to us.
Jesus.
Crazy kid. And he came on board with me and helped me get it out. Once the water came up, we used the bow thruster to shove the boat
Oh, you got a
around.
little bow thruster on there.
Were you feeling it rise as the water's coming? Like, oh, God.
No, the boat wasn't moving because the water was coming up and the boat was just sitting there
Wow.
in the mud. So that's why we used the bow thrusters or above
Shake
the
it
mud.
loose. Wow.
So we shook the boat around.
Whoa.
And it worked.
And at one point, the tide was starting to go down again, and the guy that was with me said, "It's your call, but we could turn the engines on and put it in reverse and try to get out of here."
What'd you do?
Yeah, it was like Apollo 13 because everything had been off for a long time, and now we're like, he says, we have 10 seconds of battery. It was all this stuff.
Yes.
So we fired up and just put it in reverse, and mud just, it was crazy.
We don't have enough lambs to get Louis out of the mud.
It's a weird selection process that we have. It's dating, really, it's how we evolve as dating. It's how we choose each other. And dating is a real drag for a lot of people, but I always think it's a nice thing. You know, when I see a date, I'm always happy. When I see a couple on a date, because it means people are still trying, you know? You see a couple on a date, it means there's still courage out there. That takes courage to go on a date, for both sides. Two very different kinds of courage. The male courage, traditionally speaking, is that he decided to ask. He went up to a random woman who he has no idea if she's going to like him or not, and he walked up to her, terrifying. Everything in your body's telling you, just go the fuck home and jerk off. Don't do this. But he walked up and said, "Hi, yes." And she's like, no, give me a second. You try to get through this membrane of, you know, and then if it works and you say, "You want to go out sometime?" Sometimes she'll say yes. And if she says yes, that's her courage. And the courage it takes for a woman to say yes is beyond anything I can imagine. A woman saying yes to a date with a man is literally insane and ill-advised. And the whole species' existence counts on them doing it. And I don't know how do women still go out with guys when you consider the fact that there is no greater threat to women than men. We're the number one threat to women. Globally and historically, we're the number one cause of injury and mayhem to women. We're the worst thing that ever happens to them. That's true. You know what our number one threat is? Heart disease. That's the whole thing. That's it. Just our own heart going, "Dude, you can't keep doing this. I told you 3 strokes ago that this is not smart." But women still think, "Yeah, I'll go out with you alone at night." What are you, nuts? "I'll get in your car with you with my little shoulders. Hi, where are we going?" To your death, statistically. How do they still do it? If you're a guy, try to imagine that you could only date a half bear, half lion. And you're like, "Oh, I hope this one's nice. I hope he doesn't do what he's going to do." I love when I see a date. You know, you see a date, you can tell it's the first date because the way they're walking together, and she's looking up at his face trying to figure him out, and he's just a mess. A guy in a first date has no actual personality. He's just a mishmash of different kinds of dudes for a couple of seconds each. Just anything. no cohesive, just like a ransom note cut out of a lot of magazines. Just, yeah. Well, yes, I think so too. Whatever, just like a blind dick in space, just thrusting in infinite directions, hoping to find pay dirt at some place. And then sometimes you see a date that's later down the line and something has happened. There's something that happens in a date that I never get to witness, because women do this. They get to do it inside. They get to just decide quietly, I'm going to let him fuck me. They just get to decide. Something he says, and she's like, that was good, he's going to fuck me later. And he has no idea. He's still like trying all this shit. He still has no idea he's already in there.